your phone or your laptop. We got company this evening. And hopefully you're going to be our company. We're going to get to the politics and shout out everybody's website. We're going to do that at the end, man. So I don't want to hold these guys back anymore. I got Germ. I got Ham. I got Trav. And I got special guests in the building. I'm gonna let these brothers introduce themselves. I'm gonna start off with my man G2. G2, what's happening, man?
What's going on, fellas? As always, I appreciate y'all letting me in the palace. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got a whole bunch of stuff that y'all got going on, so I appreciate it. Every single time, you guys are spitting knowledge, great content, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the individuals that are on your major media, they be tuning in and seeing what y'all talking about, because I done seen it a couple times as y'all point some stuff out, and then it just like randomly pop up on some other platforms. But we'll say that for another day, though. But like I said, I appreciate y'all having me on, though.
Absolutely. Our main man showing up out from Delaware, member of the group, but a great contributor. Our man, Coach B, Coach Barry, what's happening?
What's up, fellas? Can I just shout out this amazing shirt, Branded Billionaire? Shout out to my guy, Myron. He can't be with us for whatever reason, but just shout out to all of you guys. I'm Coach B, Body by Barry. I get to create a world that's happier and healthier. I'm bringing healthy content to the mix of 94 Feet of Life around hoops, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's get it.
Absolutely. And first time joining us, hopefully not the last time, man. Shout out to Ham for getting his brother on. So our main man, Anthony Sain. Anthony, introduce yourself to the people, where you at. Shout out everything, man, since it's your first time with us.
You guys can check me out on Sports 56 mornings, Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. It's on 98.5 FM. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any of your social networking channels as well as the TuneIn app. This is a sports radio show with myself and Peter Evanston, who's been long time, journalist in the city of Memphis. We're a basketball heavy show. We talk a lot of Grizzlies, a lot of Tiger basketball stuff. Unlike some of the other SEC football based stuff that you hear in the city of Memphis, we try to keep it hoop heavy. But yeah, you can check me out there. And I'm glad to be here, man. I feel like this is helping my street cred a little bit.
Stop. You helping my cred. Stop. It's mutual. It's mutual. Don't do that.
This make me feel. I feel more legit, man. Doing this right here. Coming on.
Hey, let me say though, he's the reason, because after like Chris Vernon left 560 like 15 years ago, I wasn't going to 560. When Vernon left and the Grizzlies left that network, I wasn't going there. When man gets a show on there to start the mornings, he became part of the morning rotation again. But I gotta catch y'all. I gotta catch y'all on FM though, man, on 98.5. FM radio.
98.5. Come on, let go of AM 560, man. Let go of AM 560. Come on over to 98.5.
So we're gonna start with our guest, man. The plan. We finally, I think we got it down. We know how this works finally. So we're going to start with the 9-10 game in the West, and that is the San Antonio Spurs against their old familiar friend, the Memphis Grizzlies. Ham had a live today on his frustrations with having to see the Spurs again.
Sick of them.
So we're going to let Sain, Ham, and Trav kind of lead this discussion. First of all, fellas, whoever want to jump in, we just jump in. We don't do no cues or nothing like that. You just go. How you feeling?
I'm gonna let y'all do your thing.
Man, this is what. Let's count them off. 20. We going back to when they was in Memphis. 04, 2011, 2013. Was it 16 or 17?
I want to say it was 17. 16, 17. Yeah, 16, 17.
Was it both of them? Because they swept us one.
It was a 2017 season. That was the one when
Kawhi's last year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, why don't y'all go somewhere, man? Why don't y'all apply to another division? Apply to the Southeast. The Mountain Division. Go there with Denver and Portland and them. Oklahoma City. Run them. Let us have this for a while, man. Y'all been around for 2 decades, man. Y'all got fat. See, I'm saying this because when we beat y'all 2 years ago, it sparked another championship coming up, within the next few years. It's like, I don't know what it is. Y'all came down here, y'all drank all the Merlot, y'all ate all the dry rub, y'all took dry rub back to San Antonio with y'all. I don't know what it is, man. But salute to y'all for still being here, Trav. For real. Even with the new faces.
Hey man, it's business as usual. We either gonna win it or we gonna lose it. If we gonna go home or we'll be back on the road trying to fight for the 8th spot. But Memphis know what they did to get this. They know what they did.
Yeah.
They beat that. What's that? 11. They beat us while we was injured. It's been hell on them folks ever since, man. Y'all know Popovich don't like y'all. Not like that. He respect you, but he don't care about you. But
I think the Grizzlies have beat y'all. Like, I think I can count on one hand how many times the Grizzlies have beat the Spurs.
I know they beat us twice this year. I know that much.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'm tired of the Spurs as well. I pretty much saw this whole thing coming, and we talked about this on the radio show today. I said after the Grizzlies lost, the way they did to the Warriors, you probably can pretty much count this as a loss too. I think that's kind of deflating ending. It just feels like another L is coming for the Grizzlies. Popovich is he's gonna put. I mean, in the way he wants to defend the Grizzlies is exactly how the Grizzlies is gonna play into his hand. Like, we know John's not a shooter, so he's gonna stack the paint, and he's gonna do that to stop JV and to stop John at the same time. He can play the same defense to stop both of them, and it's just gonna be a frustrating 48 minutes as a Grizzlies fan. Like, I already know how it's gonna play out, and yeah. And the Grizzlies, they're young. They've got the pieces. They've got some of the pieces, but they're so young and green when it comes down to certain things that in these type of moments, this is where Popovich is going to excel. So I think the Grizzlies is going to be in and out real fast come Wednesday. I'll be in the building. Yeah.
Staying right there, Anthony, and Ham certainly jumping in. One of the topics that's come up in our group somehow,
man,
is the conversation around Ja Morant. And for me personally, I think he's ahead of schedule. Now, I'm not in the city. I can't get the pulse like you all. But it's the feeling around Memphis. He's ahead. He's where he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be showing us more. Because I think as an outsider, obviously, to me, it's a really weird conversation that's kind of developed around him.
I think that as far as the city goes, I think that people here think he's ahead of schedule. Ja's in a unique situation that if you look at historically, you really can't think of anybody who has the same story as Ja Morant, because you're talking about a guy who 2 years ago was playing on the secondary court in the AAU tournament on the side court, and a basketball coach went to go get some nachos and saw Ja playing with bums. You know what I mean? guys who, you know what I mean? Like, he sees Ja like, hey, you were playing. He's like, okay, this kid's playing on the wrong court. You talking about a guy that was unranked, wasn't on any type of ranking anywhere in the country, 0-star kid, and 2 years later he's reigning Rookie of the Year, NBA Rookie of the Year. So as far as what Ja's potential is, we don't really know what Ja can be because his climb is just so non-traditional. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're talking about a guy that was unheralded, unranked. He had a crazy year in college basketball, and then he's the number 2 player in the draft, Rookie of the Year, the king of Memphis, leading a franchise to the future. So because of that unique situation, we don't really know what Ja is. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the RJ Barretts who been the number 1 player in the country for the last all his life, or the Zions, or whoever. The Kay Cunninghams. He's not one of those type of guys. He's not one of those blue blood kids who's been, this heralded kid forever. So with that type of, he's literally learning on the fly. Because a lot of these kids who come in, they've been celebrities ever since they've been in middle school. You know what I mean? But that's not Ja. So he's learning a lot on the fly, and his rise and his climb and his progression is going to look different than other players. With all that being said, I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's the best player the Grizzlies have ever seen. We always sit back and watch other teams and their superstar players. I just think as a Grizzlies fan, it's good to see a guy like him, finally wearing, the Grizzlies colors. But I think he's fine. And I think that I'll just be honest, and I said this on the radio show as well. This is something that I credit our show about because we're brutally honest about things. I think John kind of screwed off his offseason this year. I don't think that he maximized last offseason. I think he was on a celebration tour more so than getting in the lab and doing what he needs to do as far as adding new wrinkles to his game. And I think that hunger, with this kind of being a disappointing season where he kind of fell off a little bit, where his expectation level didn't really go there. I mean, his follow-through level didn't really go where his expectation level was. I think that this is a year where he'll really get in the lab and take a lot of things serious. Plus, he's a kid who's going through a lot of transitions in his personal life. You know what I mean? Like I said, you go from being an unheralded player to now you're a millionaire living in Memphis with your mom, dad, your baby mama, all these people in the house. You're a parent at 20 years old. You know what I mean? So I think he's battling through all of that. I know I'm being long, but yeah, that's kind of how I wrap up, John. It's kind of he's kind of difficult to unwrap.
So we got another guest in the building. Shout out. So he checking in somewhere between the Canadian border and Colorado. So anywhere on the map, somewhere in that region, Canada and Colorado. It's our main man, worldwide Lester Stewart, coach at Casper College. What's going on, Lester?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling?
Good, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about the 9-10 game. And I want to get Trav back in, and then we're going to flip over to the marquee. If there's ever such thing as a marquee playing game, it's the next game we're going to talk about. But Trav, I want to get you back in on the Spurs real quick. The Spurs are back, as Ham has so frustratingly talked about. But this is a transition for the Spurs. They are transitioning completely transitioned out of the big three. Kawhi's now been gone 3 whole seasons now. As a Spurs fan, yes, not the greatest of seasons, but back in the dance. How you feel about kind of where the Spurs are at as a franchise right now?
As a franchise, it's more rebuilding than anything. As of this moment, it's more rebuilding. I mean, of course, you lost the big three. You lost Kawhi. You just trying to get in where you fit in at this point. And that ain't good being in the West trying to get in where you fit in. Because you try to do that, you see you at the 10th spot. You'll soon be at the 12 or 13th spot. You can be in last. They barely got in, to be honest. But at the same time, you just got to take what you got and make the best out of it. And I think that's what we going to try to do tomorrow. What's that, Wednesday? We play Wednesday, right? Wednesday. Yes. So we got, it's not a favorable matchup, but it's something that we can deal with. And it's Memphis. At Memphis. We have had our success there, so we just got to take it in stride, do our best, move on to the winner between Golden State and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Just had to rub in that past success, boy.
Now, let's get to that matchup. So I know I'm on the phone, so I can't see who's on, but I know we got another guest on. One of our members, Nick, is in the building. Coach B, if you on mute, come off mute. G2, if you on mute, come off mute. Worldwide Les, if you on mute, come off mute. And now we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Commonwealth Rams versus Golden State Tech in the first 4 live. It ain't on True TV, but it might as well be Tuesday night action. This might be the most hyped, non-top seeded playoff game I can remember in a long time. And the crazy part is, fellas, the loser of this game gets the second bite at the apple. But whether G2, Les, Coach B, whoever want to jump in, man, Warriors, Lakers, in the playing game, which is crazy in itself. But just y'all thoughts. I mean, I think NBA Twitter is ready to explode Wednesday night, no matter what the result is. What are y'all thoughts, man? Whoever want to jump on, I said we need to point you. Whoever want to go, just go.
Hey, let me go first.
Go ahead, Les.
I gotta go first real quick. The only thing that is wrong with this game between Los Angeles Commonwealth University and Golden State Rams is that it's not the 9-10. If this was the 9-10, this would be troll heaven.
True.
And whoever loses is done.
Right.
That's the only thing that's missing. But as we said before, this is the playing game. We like the first four in the NCAA tournament. That's why I called them Los Angeles Commonwealth University. But that's the only thing that's missing. But if I got to pick a winner, and it's just hard for me to say, I'm picking the Lakers. I think the Lakers find a way. I think LeBron, he's LeBron, I just think it'll happen. But for me, somebody that is a very, has trollish ways, I'm loving it. It's like McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Yeah, this has so much potential. G2, let me get you in. I'm gonna go G2 and I'm gonna go Coach B, because Coach B is our Laker representative on the show, so we gotta get his on. G2.
Oh, okay.
As a neutral,
yeah.
It's Curry versus LeBron.
Right.
In very unique circumstances. Let's talk about it.
So before this morning, I really had zero interest in this game, because I was like, depending on who wins, depending on who loses, they just gonna social media gonna go crazy, and they probably gonna have to log off for the rest of the summer, depending on who loses. And then I saw what Brian posted on Instagram this earlier today, in regards to most 25 points per game scoring seasons in NBA history, and he had 17. And then Jordan, Durant, Kobe, Malone had 12. And then I looked and read his caption on it, right? And I was like, you shouldn't have did that. You should have left that alone. And I'm like, we saw what Curry was doing to the Grizzlies. We see what Curry's been doing. I'm like, man, Curry might turn the scoreboard off on them in that game. How can I say this? See, Ron, I got to be more PC nowadays.
I know it's fine.
In today's NBA, especially when you look at your superstars, megastars, to me, I think they put too much emphasis on what people that have nothing to do with their circumstance think about, right? And that can get you in trouble when you go on to get somebody who don't give a damn about none of that. And outside of Curry being they look at the light-skinned guy with the eyes and everything, he's a serial killer on the court. And he may smirk here, he may give a little sarcastic, dry sense of humor response, but after that, he gonna try to kill you on the court. And LeBron posting that, I'm like, don't do that. Don't not what he's doing right now. Don't do that. don't because you posted and I don't know if y'all saw the Instagram post that he had.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's talking about give me my respect. I guess I'm fam, you've been in the league since you're 19. You've been the number one option since you were 19 years old.
Right.
What else is supposed to happen? You've doing this is what you've been doing. From the man above, you've never been hurt like this. You're supposed to do this. What are you talking about? This is, and it's You want a pat on the back for that? I can't rock with that. I ain't built like that. Hey, go out and play. Well, you about to go get somebody who's been doubted for the last 2 years or so. When did he get hurt? 2 years ago, give or take.
Well,
oh, you ain't nothing without this person. You ain't nothing without this person. They like, y'all must have forgot who I am and what I was before I had them. Like, I'm still me.
Right.
And he's been showing for a little bit who he is. And I'm like, I think it's gonna be embarrassing. And if Curry, if he turns the scoreboard off on the Lakers like I think he's gonna do, it's gonna be another narrative that's gonna shift too.
Yeah, I think this is the narrative invitational. This game.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Coach B, I want to bring you in from the Lakers' point of view. And I'm going to be honest with you, Coach B. You're my guy. And I'm not even on here on a disrespectful thing. You know how I rock. I hate y'all guards.
Ron, what's wrong with him, man? Go ahead and speak the truth.
What's wrong with him? This is what I worry about with the Lakers, and this is whether they get out of the play-in or not. Caruso, like the Caruso thing now is not. It was cute last year, but they kind of pulled the covers off of him this year, right? Dennis. This is Dennis's. Now Dennis, I'm gonna have to see because Dennis last year in the playoffs, it was in. So Coach B, now that I've kind of slandered y'all guards on TV, where are you at? Because this is a very different position from the Lakers was supposed to be. The Lakers aren't supposed to be in the play. The Lakers are supposed to be sitting there week off, waiting on an opponent. Anthony Davis is now back, though. LeBron James is here. How do you feel about this squad sitting in 7, despite health and these very untrustworthy guards?
Well, I'm not the one to normally agree with people too much per se, but I'm in agreement with the guards. And just to go deeper, I'm going to say strongly dislike. I've strongly disliked the Laker guards since Sasha Vujicic, Derek Fisher, to name just a few. However, we've always had dominance in the paint. And that's where LA is going to have to, own its authority. I mean, AD is back, like you mentioned. Drummond is back. Well, he had 15 boards. AD had 10 boards. So if you can, we've seen it last year with Dwight Howard, McGee, them guys. They dominated the board. So LA is going to have to do what they do and dominate the board. They're going to have to dominate the boards, and LeBron's going to have to be LeBron. But I've hated the guard. And I'm still pissed off that Rondo is in the other locker room. Like, come on, man, what are y'all doing? We know how playoff Rondo get down.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Clippers. We got a couple guests on the line, and I also want to get. I know my man Anthony Sain on a little bit of a time crunch. So I want to get him back into the mix real quick before he has to take off. So Anthony, outside of perspective, obviously Lakers, Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? I never want to say you have a preference. I know you kind of you don't sound real confident on the Grizzlies getting past.
No, not at all.
The Spurs. But let's go. Let's have positive vibes. What they say, positive vibes only, like they do on Instagram. Positive vibes only.
Mm-hmm. How
do you see Memphis as an outsider? Matchup Lakers Warriors. Do you think this is Lakers? Because from what I seen early, it looked like people say the Lakers. Do you think the Lakers had the advantage over the Warriors?
I think the Warriors are playing great basketball right now. I think the Lakers are still trying to find their way. I think the Warriors have won like 6 straight or something like that. They beat the Jazz and they beat the Suns in the middle of that streak. So I think the Warriors are playing good ball. Steph is playing out of his world. I think the Warriors are going to win this 7-8 game, and but I think the Lakers still end up getting in. They'll beat the winner of our game. But I will say this: with all of the doubt I have for the Grizzlies versus the Spurs, I actually feel better about Grizzlies versus Lakers than I do about Grizzlies versus Spurs. I think the Lakers are kind of in trouble. Like they're trying to find their way still with LeBron and AD just coming back. I could definitely see a situation where things don't go as planned, but we all know the NBA is not going to let that happen. Vince McMahon himself will come out and put a referee shirt on before the league lets the Lakers not make the playoffs. So that's definitely not happening. So yeah, but yeah, I think Golden State wins this matchup here, but the Lakers they'll still end up getting in because they'll beat whoever wins our game on Wednesday.
Cool. All right, so let me just do a quick round table. And we also got some family on the line. We got cousin, you got Trav's cousin on the line. Aiden, shout out Aiden on the line. Aiden, I'm gonna get to you real quick. Everybody off mute. Who do you think is gonna get out of the West Plains? Who are gonna be the two teams that get into the actual playoffs? Then we're gonna let Aiden get on the line. Well, Aiden, Nick, I see you. I haven't forgotten. We're gonna get you on too.
I think the Warriors.
Rapid fire. Aiden, who's the second team? You said the Warriors gonna get out to play. Who's gonna be the other team to get out to play?
The Lakers.
Okay.
Because those are my favorite teams.
Hey, ride with your squad. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Who else? Anybody else? Pick your two playing teams.
I know the Utah Jazz has to make it.
Okay.
But I think I forgot that team name.
What color are they?
Black. That was black and white. The Spurs.
You like the Spurs too. What about now? So I'm finna make this real simple for you. Who do you think is going to the NBA Finals from the West?
I'm going Lakers all the way.
You the Lakers. All right.
I'm a big Lakers fan.
And who is your favorite player?
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
All right, Aiden. We finna get to the rest of them. So keep your phone on mute, and we're gonna get back to you.
Okay.
All right.
Shout out Aiden.
Good job, man.
So everybody else, your two playing. Who's gonna get out to play?
Man, I'm rolling with the Grizzlies and whoever else don't go with the other side, man.
I think it'll be the Lakers and Warriors. They're gonna stay like it is.
Yeah, it'll be Lakers and Warriors, man.
The Lakers and Warriors.
Lakers and Warriors. Warriors, I think the seeding flips though. I think the Warriors get to 7. Lakers take the 8.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think too.
But
yeah.
if the Warriors
some haters, man. I ain't sending none of y'all no cookies, man. Y'all some haters, man.
Ham, look. As good as Memphis has played this year.
I'm tripping.
It's okay. It's all right. We need more people. You just need more people. You need more people.
All right, so we got. I'm with y'all. I think the Lakers will win Wednesday, and I think the Warriors will have to beat Memphis to get there, which would be great because Ham is tired of both the Spurs and he tired of the Warriors.
I'm tired of them too.
So
that goes back to 2015. So
Ham, we're gonna get both of his nemesis.
It's all Mike Conley's fault though.
Oh.
When you look at it, it's all Mike Conley's fault. Mike Conley, Zebo, and Mark Gasol. It's all their fault.
Hey man, y'all the one that had Richard Jefferson.
Like the hell with Richard Jefferson.
Big Sean.
So
He
the
wrote-
the 7-8 matchup, the winner gets who? The Suns.
Yeah.
Yep.
The winner,
Yeah. But I'm gonna say that if the Warriors get that AC,
No.
Utah in
The
trouble.
7-8 winner gets Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
They get the Suns.
Yeah.
So
they get the
Yeah, Utah
that's
took care of
tricky.
business.
That's tricky because I like the Warriors. I have the Warriors beating the Lakers, but I don't. If I was the Lakers, and it is what it is, I hate this because I'm a competitor. If I'm the Lakers, I wouldn't want to win this game against the Warriors. Because
I wouldn't screw around with it though. You mess around, your season be over. You mess around, get the Spurs or the Grizzlies, they get hot.
You're absolutely correct.
I
but
wouldn't try to be cute. Yeah.
The reason I say that is because that's a tough matchup for the Lakers because if you beat the Warriors, you're not touching the Suns. Like you ain't got nothing for that right now. If you lose and you mess around and get the Grizzlies somehow, or you mess around and get it might get a little funny. I don't know.
I'm just gonna say this. Until I've seen it done, there's nobody that can beat Bron 4 out of 7. I just haven't seen it done. Yeah. And Ric Flair, Han would appreciate this. To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
They ain't get it. They may not get it.
We've seen it done.
Yes.
We haven't seen it done in a long time.
No, it ain't been done in a long time. But
it ain't been done in a long time.
Here's the problem, and I seen this happen, especially 2011. Mm-hmm. Walked down there to Memphis, and we limped in there. Number 1 seed, we limped. Our big 3 was hurt. LeBron and AD is limping. They are limping in there. So come in there playing like you want to be the man gonna get beat.
And you ain't gotta do it 4 times in this scenario.
Yeah, but I tell you what.
Hey, that's absolutely correct.
Exactly. It just takes one time.
It's just one time. And that's the thing that's scary about the Lakers because LeBron is Bron, AD, I get all that, but they got one person over there that can set the whole house on fire. Ham, who I'm talking about?
Who are you talking about?
Kyle Kuzma. He could do something and set the whole house on fire, and they gone.
You talking about my man? You talking about my man? Utah.
Yeah. I can't trust him in a 1 game. I don't know, man.
He down the hole.
Yeah.
So he down to let it ride.
So Big Shot, real quick. Hey, I don't know how Ant is right quick with his time, but Ant, you want to give your finals prediction real quick and everything like that, just in case you got to slide.
I'm gonna say this. If the Lakers get in, they're coming out of the West. I think they'll figure it out by the time. I mean, we're still talking about Bron, still talking about AD. If they get in the playoffs, they're coming out of the West. I think if you put them in a 7-game series, it might be rocky, but I think LeBron will figure out a way to make it happen. And I've got Brooklyn coming out of the East, and I got Brooklyn winning the whole thing. And I've said that the whole season. It's not about the LeBron AD injuries. I think if everybody was 100, I've got Brooklyn winning the whole thing. So and of course health has a lot to do with both my predictions. So as long as everybody comes out healthy, I think that it'll be the Lakers versus Nets and Brooklyn and KD will get another one, and Kyrie will get another one, and Harden will break he'll break his curse, so to speak, and he'll get his. That's my prediction.
All right, we're gonna flip over to the east side of the play-in. To me, this is the NIT. Since we kind of on the margin, this is the NIT. So my very quick observations on both of these games is, first of all, Charlotte has to get Indiana out of there. Point blank.
No cheese toast.
The Pacers just ain't it for me. So Charlotte got to get them out of there. And I am here for Russell Westbrook, the Russell Westbrook experience as long as they can go. So I'm rooting for the Wizards because I think the Russell Westbrook experience is fascinating, fellas. The East play-in not as sexy, not as attractive, but let's talk about those two matchups really quick. I want to bring Nick, since you here. Nick, I want you to lead this off. We're gonna go Nick, and then whoever wants to jump in. Boston has been on the ropes for a long time. Jaylen Brown now gone for the season. Brad Stevens, we think the seat should be hot. And we don't know how high it is, but it should be. So, Nick, now you start us off, man. Does Boston get out of this? Does Boston get out of the play?
Who they got again?
Boston is going to play Charlotte. No, Boston plays Washington in the 7-8.
Oh, no, they're not going to get in. They done. Without Jaylen Brown, they done.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it, especially with the motor that Washington been playing with. Even when they don't win, you know.
And they can score. They can score.
They can put it in. Then they got Brad back. Brad was knocking down the jumper the other day. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Nick on that one. They might not survive that one.
If they do survive, it's gonna be low scoring. They got to slow the pace because they gonna score.
I can agree with that as well. And however hot Brad's seat may be, Brad will land somewhere else. He'll be fine. He's a hell of a coach. Just probably just reached his limit, as we stated here several different times before. It happens. But hey man, let me get Russ in the regular playoffs with that squad, man. I'm cool with that. That rocks. I'm cool with that right there.
And real quick, to slide this in real quick as well, just so we understand this. See, the thing is, Boston has something interesting at their disposal that we need to discuss real quick. No Jaylen Brown equals cardiac Kemba's shot attempts being right at that 22 to 22 a game range. That's where he's comfortable. I've been saying all year, if Kemba gets the volume, Kemba can score. Because that's what he is. That's what the man does. So now with him being the guy who takes the volume, Jason Tatum has played excellent basketball, being more efficient, more effective, not dribbling and trying to kill a mosquito with a machine gun and all that extra crap. So that's been a big thing. So I think overall, there is one determining factor here in this game. His name is Marcus Smart. Russ can't run faster than him. Russ can't run through him. He will be on him 94 feet, no pun intended. And it's going to be a long day for Russ. So, Russ, you get to build in that neighborhood. Y'all going to be playing again.
Coach B. Now, I know Coach B is, not only is Coach B a Laker enthusiast, he's also a Russell Westbrook enthusiast. And we know Russell has been on a tear the last 8 weeks and has really rallied Washington back from the dead to get into this position. But apart from Westbrook, Coach B, what else does Washington have to do to get through Boston, to get into their proper playoffs?
Well, I think the NBA playoffs is similar to the NFL playoffs. In the NBA, you need someone that can, like I said, I think I said it before, you can dump it down to them in the post, right? Stop the bleeding from an 8-0 run. Washington doesn't really have that per se, but they play solid team defense. And I really like that Len boy, that center for Washington. I really think he feeds off of Westbrook's intensity. And I believe Washington dominating the boards because Boston has lacked size all season. They've lacked size all season. Now they're a man down. Arguably their best man, one of their best men, in Brown. But I just think, and Russ doing what he do. I seen a stat earlier today. They're 23-15 when he averages a triple double. That's a winning record. And Bill is still Bradley Bill. I just think that Washington, and I think Washington, they get past Boston, they could be scary for Brooklyn. They beat Brooklyn 2 out of 3 this year. And Washington started out slow, but they found their identity through Westbrook, through Beal. They're getting a lot of trust in their coach, Scott Brooks, and now there's a lack of trust in Brad Stevens and his hot seat, like you said. So I just think Washington is in a very, very great position right now on the upside of things. I just think they're very scary. I like Washington. Um, I think Boston can sneak in and get the 8th, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I picked Washington to finish 8th this year, so I gotta stick with it. I'm going Washington.
G2, I'm gonna bring you in because G2 very calm, brother. He kind of laid back, so maybe he can help me out with, to me, the wildest team in the playoffs, and that's this 9-10 game. Charlotte and Indiana. Charlotte, for me, is truly the wild card of the play-in because they just do. It's never a dull moment when it comes to the Charlotte Hornets.
Absolutely.
So G2, Charlotte, Indiana in that 9-10 spot with the loser. The loser goes straight to the crib.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, young, Indiana, despite what we talk about, has been in the playoffs before.
Mm-hmm.
The youth of Charlotte or the experience of Indiana.
You don't know what you don't know, right? So I think the Hornets are going to come in and it's like what do we have to lose? You know what I'm saying? And if you're just a normal person, that gives you an edge. You talking about a professional athlete and then a team that has that can be kind of scary in that matchup. I mean, I don't see the Pacers beating them just because they're gonna play so carefree and have so much fun while they're out there. They're gonna be loose, and I think the Pacers have. If you want the Pacers right now, if you're the coach of the Pacers or you one of the main guys, can you really, really view what your offseason is going to be if you lose to the Charlotte Hornets in a play-in game? You're not going to be able to show your face around like that. That's going to be rough for you. And I mean, them young boys in Charlotte, man, they fearless. They don't care who they playing. And if you got somebody like MJ that's sitting on that Mount Olympus that's with you, right? All they want to do is make him happy. Make him, hey, we want your sign of respect. We in the league with you. You drafted us, we're on your team, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So man, it ain't look good for the Pacers, man. They're gonna be packing it up. Yeah. Pacers going home.
Yeah, I think athletically, as wild as they are and all over the place they are, I think Charlotte athletically might be too much for Indiana. Indiana, to me, has the best player in the series, which is DeMontis. But I think Charlotte's energy, the athleticism, the up and down they play, I think is going to be tough for the Pacers to deal with.
Who's what's the starting backcourt for the Pacers?
Karis LeVert and either Drew Holiday. No, it's Brogdon, and then they got Drew and them brother, and then they got TJ McDonald.
Justin Holiday. Okay.
Yeah, yep, they got both Holidays actually. Justin and
man,
and a healthy Karis LeVert.
That's what I'm see. He's the it factor in this game. If he's LeVert, LeVert,
like the bubble LeVert.
If he Eddie LeVert and them son.
Yeah, if he him, man,
if he just cooling. We just cool.
Yeah, he in that baby. Hold on to me.
Hey, for real,
he like that.
Yeah. So I mean, if he's himself, that's thinking about it now, that's really a toss up. Pacers, they'll roll in that game if LeVert is LeVert, the Hornets will roll if they just be carefree. Like if they take a split second to be like and really start to look at the moment that they're in trouble.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Let's not take out Miles Turner, the leading shot blocker in the league, and T.J. McConnell, who is up in one of the leaders in steals, and he comes off the bench. They play great team defense. Now they don't have the glamour and the glitz, and they bring that hard hat lunch pail kind of mentality. So Charlotte is the sexy pick. I just wouldn't cancel out Indiana like that because they are having some chemistry issues, but I wouldn't cancel them out. They're having some chemistry issues.
Trav, I'm gonna pass it right to you. I'm gonna pass it right to you, Trav. I'm gonna set you up. Here's the key in the series: Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward is the one player on the team right now, to be honest, that Indiana does not have an answer for. The guards, we can probably defend the guards and make it interesting. But the second most important part is, how do we take a post player out the game? Pace.
Run.
When Lonzo get that, we're big. We're worldwide. Where my guy worldwide at?
He gone.
Big guard energy. My rookie Lonzo, LaMelo. When he get that ball, it's time to go, and it's time to go now. We on the clock, so that pace is going to be how they're going to keep all of these guys. Because Indiana's not a team that wants to play with pace. That's not where they feel comfortable. Now that takes your biggest strength out the game, which is Sabonis. Now, I'm not saying he can't play because Sabonis cold. That's a cold dude. We talked about it in DC that day. That's a cold dude. But at the end of the day, pace is what's the key here. If they get about 100 possessions or so, we might as well go ahead and get ready to go to Charlotte.
But I like what Greg said. And, I love what Greg said because I come from a world of you don't know what you don't know. And me personally, I don't know what I'm going to get from Gordon Hayward, who you just brought up when it comes postseason. We don't know. We don't know. Can he play? Absolutely.
But I tell you what.
Postseason.
I mean, this game of basketball is all about who can execute their stuff the most consistently. And you got old Sabonis. If they slow this crap down and they feed him the way he's supposed to be fed, and he do the work that he's supposed to work, LaMelo can run all day. But if you ain't converting, if you ain't converting, it ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. My key player in this whole game right here is Scary Terry. That's the one I'm looking for because he can give you 40 at any given night. That's right.
How many do you feel he need to get them in order for them to win? That's the key.
I mean, the points, if he give you 35 and everybody else contributing, yes, they supposed to win.
Okay.
But if their pace slows down to where every shot has to count and you got some bonus right there, you in for a good game. I think this is going to be a better game.
I love Scary Terry. He's streaky. He's a little John Starkey. And Scary Terry still gives me vibes from 2018, Game 7, 3 for 17. He ain't show up. He ain't show up.
He showed up. He just laid a lot of real estate.
Listen, that type of stuff in these type of circumstances, that stuff happens. That stuff happens.
It happens.
He's gonna defend on the other end of the court. He's gonna do those things. He's gonna do everything else, even if he don't score. That's what you're gonna like about Terry Rozier. That's why he a $20 million man.
But like that's what it said. If the real Scary Terry show up, it is scary. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good call. Absolutely.
This one really has like 7th seed versus 10th seed at 11:20 a.m. Central Time on Thursday. Let me ask y'all a question just about these, and we can move on away from it. Who in the hell are the coaches for these teams?
I don't know.
If I just see my guy Greg just do this, we don't know this.
Yeah, we don't
If
know.
he don't know, we don't know.
Shout out to the coaches.
Shout out to the coaching matters.
That's right.
So G2. So hold on, y'all. G2, you don't know the coaches neither, man.
We all in bad shape.
Nobody knows.
We all in bad shape over here, man. That's
Hey,
what I'm saying.
all I know is he be going up to the coach for Charlotte be going up to them, be dropping his mask, be whispering something to Melo, and then Melo be up here like magic. I'd be like, hey.
So let's get into now the playoffs at large, right? Now we don't know who's going to end up with who, so we're not going to break down each series because we don't know who's going to play. But we are going to talk about kind of storylines and things in East Conference. And we're going to go back to the West. And I think there's a couple really interesting storylines. We've talked about the Lakers ad nauseum. So here are some of the things, fellas, that I'm looking at. Y'all just jump in. Phoenix. Haven't been to playoffs in a really long time. And now all of a sudden you're the second seed. The expectations are now up with a group of guys that if you take out CP3 have never been there. So that's one storyline. You've got the Clippers, the huge disappointment of last year. Playoff P, that whole narrative. You've got Portland, Dame time, and they're just kind of never quite been able to get over the hump. So whether it's any of those narratives or storylines, things in the West that you're looking at that have nothing to do, we talked about the Lakers and Curry to death. Other things for the teams that are actually in the playoffs right now that you're looking at and you're saying, this could be the difference between who gets in and who gets out. And I will be honest with you, and I know y'all, everybody loves Phoenix. I am very concerned about a team with that little amount of experience outside of Chris Paul playing with that much expectation.
Why do you say that?
Because it just doesn't happen where a team with that little amount of experience goes deep in the playoffs the first time.
If it was someone else, and if that person played a different position, I would agree with that. And the reason I say that is because Chris Paul arguably might go down as the best point guard to ever play this game. Like some people make that case for him. His mentality, his competitive nature, his will to win is contagious. When you have players that have never been where he's been, and all they can go off of is the stories, the folk tales, the videos, the clips, and now you get a chance to do it, and all he's just like, hey, this young fella, follow me. I got you. That could be a scary team in the sense of, you know who this Suns team reminds me of somewhat? When CP3 was in New Orleans. When you had
coached by Monty Williams.
That was Byron Scott.
When you had
well, before CP3 left the last year, Monty Williams was there. He lost to LA in 2011, the second round.
Right.
Or first round, my bad.
So when you look at okay, somebody made the post was it today or yesterday about Tyson Chandler in Chicago, right? And it was all about fit. And you know what? Y'all saw that, right? So what happened to Tyson Chandler when he got to New Orleans with CP3?
He played some good ball.
Elevated.
He was an all-star.
He was an all-star, right? And he ended up getting paid, right?
Yeah, he got elevated.
He got elevated, right?
Right.
So what y'all think about to happen with Aiden?
I don't think it'll happen.
Here's the thing. I don't trust Aiden.
I don't either.
You ain't got to trust him if he ain't driving the car.
I got you.
But see, at some point, for instance, if you play the Lakers, let's say that you know with the Lakers, And I say, Andre, you're going to have to go out there for 40 minutes.
Absolutely.
You deal with Davis and Drummond and Gasol. The talent is not the question with Phoenix. The little amount of experience just worries me.
But see, I'm gonna go with him because he from the crib too, and he just won the game the other day. Was it yesterday?
Eton Moore.
He got experience too.
Okay.
Hey, when you look at Phoenix's roster, they are young, they do lack experience, but it's something about when you have a point guard, and then you have a point guard like Okay, we saw what CP3 did for OKC last year in the bubble, right? That team is not that team's not Phoenix.
Not at all.
At all.
It's true.
Is this winning is contagious, confidence is contagious, a competitive spirit and nature is contagious, and when you got, and I ain't even get to the young man on that wing, he gonna give him that ball to.
You know, here's the issue that everybody I think has with Aiden G2. It's when Chris Paul is not setting the table for him, when Devin Booker is not setting the table for him. And when I say setting the table, I mean when we want our guards to get in the paint and make the big man offense simple.
Absolutely.
Aiden struggles in those times where it's face up game is still developing.
1000%. But we just talked about that with the Lakers. Y'all just said y'all don't like the Lakers guards. Who gonna keep Chris Paul out of the paint?
But see, the issue, I don't have issue with Chris Paul. See, the issue I have is the two guys who have never been there before are gonna have to grow up overnight.
Who you talking about?
Aiden and Booker. And overnight grow-ups historically don't happen. They don't. You're going to take these playoff lumps, learn from them, and grow. CP3 will be masterful in whatever series they play.
Who's the best shooting guard CP3 has played with in the league?
J.R. Smith.
Besides Devin Booker, man.
Besides Devin Booker.
Hold on. Yeah. So
this is his first year playing with Devin Booker. So hold
on. This
JJ ready.
But see,
that's what I was.
The question is not best. This ain't about talent. This ain't about best.
This
question is when these games are now do or die.
Absolutely.
4 out of 7. That basket get a lot smaller.
Again, who is the best shooting guard CP3 has ever played with in the NBA?
James Harden. Besides James Harden.
The one he got now.
The one he got.
You know what? I did forget about James. It is James, but the point is this.
Hold up before we even go there. We gonna call James a shooting guard, or we gonna call him a basketball player?
We gonna call him a
combo guard.
We gonna call him a basketball player.
We gonna call him
if he's talking about shooting guard, talking about shooting guard, we gotta put Devin Booker as number 1.
And now the reason I
we don't have to.
That, no, but no, I'm saying the reason I asked that question is this. And y'all let me know this. We've seen Devin Booker. We've seen what he's turning into. Is it harder to guard Devin Booker when he has the ball in his hands or when he's moving and coming off screens?
Moving coming off screens. Chris Paul setting them up.
Okay, now watch this. That 1-2 combination, who does that remind y'all of?
Well, based on his size, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna. No more joke.
I feel like you're saying Isaiah and Dumars. I could be off.
Nope. Oh no. Okay. The names are off. The city's correct. Billups, Rip Hamilton.
Okay.
So they could be Isaiah Dumars because Booker like 6'6".
Yeah. So, I don't even think he's that tall, but
now look at this though. Detroit won in 04? When did they win?
Yeah. 04.
Look at that lineup. Look at that lineup. Look at Phoenix's lineup.
It's kind of similar.
Well, who is they? Rasheed Wallace.
Who is there? Ben Wallace, 4-time defensive player of the year.
Remember we can't do that because y'all just already said that they didn't have that experience. So if they don't have that experience, the numbers is not there. But look at as far as when you look at skill wise and the potential of what their skill is and what that could turn into, that roster is similar to Detroit in 04.
Right. But that roster ain't ready right now.
It's kind of like Detroit in 02.
Oh, okay, Ham. We go 02. We go 02, Ham.
It's almost, well, if you kind of replace the parts, because Johnson was in Minnesota in 02 and Rip, I think, was still in DC.
And then you went Rick Carlisle to Larry Brown, coaching matters.
Right. You got that as well. But it's like if you took that Detroit roster and take them back a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of generally what you're saying with that. And I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. I understand. I see what he's saying. But I mean, I agree with both. I agree with both G2, and I do agree with Big Shot, because now the experience gonna kick in, and now Phoenix have been above everything right now. Now they're gonna get that feeling of being hunted.
Being a hunter.
Absolutely, yes, correct.
I'm not mad at that. What did I say to Big Shot and Trav the other day? My problem with Phoenix is I think they're a little soft. I watched the Lakers, the same Lakers team, just put bigger bodies on Chris Paul and beat him around like a pinball. I seen Devin Booker getting pushed around because he was acting a little light-skinned. He was. But what I'm saying is, I think they're just a little soft. That don't mean that they can't make it an interesting series and that they can't win. What I'm saying is, I need them to be stronger with the ball. Because the Lakers are not going to be a team that's going to score 120 points. Right. They're going to be a team that wants to keep it 80 possessions, let LeBron and AD work in the half court. That's also where Drummond is going to be the most effective. That's where KCP in the corner for that three is going to hurt the most. Wesley Matthews in the corner for the three hurts the most. And that's where the Lakers are going to be. And Dennis Schroeder pressure in 94 feet.
So, Germ, you're saying the Lakers are going to beat the Warriors?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you said, we're talking about the Lakers in particular with that team, I'm saying against Phoenix and with the Phoenix and Lakers, because if the matchup happens, okay. I think that would be an interesting thing, because when we watched them the last time, I felt like Phoenix got manhandled a little bit in certain parts of the game.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying for that dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Now, the Clippers last year, the huge disappointment of last year, and we know that there were major problems behind the scenes with the Clippers. So you've changed the coach. Lou Williams is gone. For me, if this doesn't, but this is another team. We've talked about experience, and I'm going to be fair on this one. Yes, they've got guys who've been there before. But this is still an organization that has never been to the conference finals. And I'm not a big believer in karma and jinxes and et cetera. But you still have to they still got to knock your door down. So, Ham, I'm going to go to you and then Nick. The Clippers. What is, for this to be considered, obviously winning the championship is what everybody wants. But do the Clippers have to get to the conference finals for this to mean anything?
Jerm, I'm going to borrow one from your phone, Sunday football sayings. With the Clippers, they on the You Better special. You better get your ass to the conference finals, bare minimum. Because there's nothing left. There's no, I mean, unless you just going to blow the whole thing up, how many more ways you going to retool it? How many more ways you going to shake it up? You got the personnel there. You lost some bench scoring with Lou, but you you get yourself a quarterback on the floor, in Rajon Rondo. Paul has probably played some of his best basketball since returning from that horrific injury that he had several years ago. Kawhi. What else they got left? They gotta get there. At least they're really they really should be looking beyond that, but you can't get to the finals without getting to the conference finals. So they just gotta lock in, go handle business, go hoop. Do their thing. But they better. You better, Clippers.
Nick.
With the Clippers, it's, to be honest, they lost two big people. They lost Lou Williams and Harold. To be honest, I don't see them getting out the first round against Dallas. I think Dallas will beat them. But to be honest, last year was their year, but there wasn't no excuse to last year. So I don't see them getting out the first round against Dallas. Just like Ham said, it's you better. You got two top 5 players on your team.
Here's something interesting too, y'all.
I got a vote.
What's going on? What's going on with Porzingis?
Day to day, he banged up.
So I mean, that, to be honest with y'all, that's their biggest mismatch with the Clippers, with his ability to be able to shoot the basketball outside. And that was a huge issue for the Clippers last year, whether we want to call it what it is or not. The only problem is he can't guard nobody on the other end.
He got to play defense. Exactly. He got to, as much offense he put up, he can let go on defense. And right there, they going to go. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I can't say what I wanted to say, what I said last week about Porzingis.
Because whatever he give up, whatever he can put up, he gonna give up just as much.
He gonna give it right back.
I'm gonna go from the emotional and social side of things around my coaching. I'm gonna give y'all 2 P's, pun intended, with Paul, playoff Paul. Pride and purpose. That's what's on the line for the Clippers. And we threw the word out, experience, a lot. Let me share with y'all what comes with experience: an urgency, the mentality, and then that purpose. You got a coach that won a championship just recently with Ty Lue. Much respect to Ty Lue and the job that he's done this year. Somebody said Kawhi is Kawhi. Well, I don't believe Kawhi is Kawhi. Like the last 3 years, Kawhi has been on that. He's been on that run like Future and T-Pain were on when they were just dropping hits. You know what I mean? Kawhi was the hot topic, arguably considered the best basketball player in the game. That topic has since dropped now, and Kawhi can just go out and play basketball. And playoff P, Paul George, he's playing with an urgency. Like, listen, I ain't going out like I went out last year. So he's coming back with a mentality, a purpose. I just got me a new bill, right? So they're going to be coming, and then the whole Rondo thing, like I said, they got a quarterback, they got a leader that's going to be able to get 2 perennial studs like that where they like the ball and do what they do. I believe, I'm going out on a limb, it's going to be a LA Conference Finals, Clippers, Lakers. You heard it here first. That's my take.
So, while we here, who do y'all got coming out the West? I have the team that we haven't talked about. I have
Utah.
Utah
gonna choke.
The reason why Utah not gonna choke. The reason why not gonna choke is Utah is the most balanced team in this conference.
That's a fact.
Both ends of the floor. Utah beat you 125 to 120. They beat you 98 to 93. Which way you want to get beat? Now, the asterisk on Utah, and I'm going to get to y'all's picks, is the health of Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell is not anything what he was, then it's a big problem. But I really like the makeup. Utah gives me 2019 Toronto Raptors vibes. Very well coached. They're going to play both ends. A balanced off. I like Utah a lot. But who y'all got? coming out the West?
I'm riding the Clippers.
I'm riding the Clippers, the Clippers, Lakers.
I'm riding the Clippers off the simple fact that it's their time. It's their time. They've been smacked in the face too much to be like, this ain't. I'm tired.
We ain't going out like that.
I'm tired. I mean, a lot of people gonna holler out there that playoff P stuff. He gonna play ball. And Kawhi is my favorite player. Of course, he got the vibe. I mean, not the vibes, but he was getting that consideration because he was playing like that.
He was.
He was playing like that. And he's going to continue to play like that. He's more offensively minded because they brought him there to put the ball in the basket. But when it's time to buckle down, he's one of the best. He's one of the most elite in the league to date. Serge is going to play. Zubac is going to do what he got to do. You got the point guard coming out the bench. I mean, Reggie Jackson, that's the one that has to be consistent. That's the one that has to play level basketball for them to get over that hump.
And the surge for me, like you said.
But when you got Rondo bagging him up, he can play with somewhat of confidence because they're going to either play in the backcourt at the same time. You're going to see that a lot. But the Clippers, this is it for them. My West, I'm going with it. When we were talking about the playoffs before, we asked if the Lakers or is it the field? I'm still going with the field, and I'm going with the Clippers.
Damn, who you got?
Ooh, I really don't know, man. But you know what? I'm one of them cats that believe when it's your time, prior to it being your time, you're going to go through a lot of barriers, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of what the fuck. With that being said, just since the purchase of the Clippers organization by Steve Ballmer, kind of gone through that quite a bit. And now they got the best roster that they possibly have ever assembled, or best chance. Yeah, man, I think I'm going to go with the Lakers. Because until then, until you get 23 in that 4 out of 7, and you beat them 4 out of 7, and you show me this, you put this on the film that can be documented, all of that, I guess I ain't got enough nuts to pick against them people right now. Just straight up, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I don't like the guard play. As Big Shot pointed out earlier, it's a lot of things that I like about the Clippers, but it's like, yo, until y'all get this done, you better Clippers.
And I think that's kind of where it is. It's who had, because nobody since 2010, LeBron James has not failed to get out of conference since 2010, except for 2019, they didn't make the playoffs.
And he was injured.
He's been to this. He's done this too many times. G2. Is it new blood in the finals? Is it Phoenix? You seem awfully confident. Is it Phoenix? Is it now? Is it time now for the young fellas?
I think the Western Conference Finals, I'm gonna have the 2 versus the 4, 2 seed versus 4 seed.
Denver and Phoenix.
Ooh.
Ooh.
No.
So Denver's a 3 seed. Yeah, Clippers are 4.
Clippers are the 4 seed.
Clippers.
He likes Phoenix. He likes Phoenix and the Clippers. Like Phoenix and the Clippers.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what.
Why we're not talking about Portland?
If we talk about storyline, Chris Paul versus the Clippers.
That's what I'm saying.
I can go with that.
My man,
G2
Nick just asked a
G2 like storylines. I like G2. He likes storylines.
Yes,
I like
and I
storylines.
liked it.
I
You
like
I
asked
actually got Portland in the conference finals.
Nick. You asked an interesting question. What about the Portland Trailblazers?
I got Portland in the conference finals.
You know why? You know why Portland will not make the finals, the Western Conference Finals. They just don't have enough.
They need more people.
They just don't have enough.
They don't have enough.
I'm gonna be honest. I think they got a favorable seed.
Favorable seed is a favorable seed, but they just don't have enough.
If it was 28, if it was 2007, Carmelo, sure.
I mean, if they win that first round, they got to go Phoenix. I think they'll beat Phoenix the 7-game series.
I don't think they're gonna get past Denver.
I'm thinking they'll beat Denver in 6.
I don't think they're gonna get past Denver.
So let me just slide in real quick. I just want to say this. Like, Portland's problem is they have a situation where they still have a problem guarding other guards. We're just gonna call it what it is. Dame gonna score his 50, but is he gonna give up 50? And is CJ gonna give up 40? They still got that problem. The other problem that they have is, honestly, Nurkic has taken a step back.
Mm-hmm.
That's their key to everything. That dribble handoff play should be unguardable. Because where did Nurkic come from? He came from Denver. Because that other dancing bear was there. He got sent somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
The problem in this situation with Portland is just that. They need them 3 players to be on point in order for them to win. And that got to happen 4 times.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Portland. Now, that don't mean it can't happen, but what are you going to bet on? Them doing that or Jokic putting up a triple-double, getting all them guards and involved, and Mr. Michael Porter Jr. in there econo spray paint every 5 minutes. and jumper is on split cack right now.
And
it's on split cack.
Jokic might have more assists than the whole Portland team per game.
Hey, fact.
They don't. Portland doesn't move the ball.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody who double teams Jokic in the post is a $500 fine.
Talk to him, Big Shot. Talk to him, Big Shot.
Big Shot. Add another 0. I need 5,000.
Talk to him. You double Joker. He's gonna make you pay.
I thought I had my whistle down here too. Blow the whistle.
Hey, before we leave this one, I want to ask my little cousin.
Yeah,
you still got belief that the Lakers gonna go to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Why do you think that?
They won last time. I think they can win again.
Is there anything else besides last year that make you think anything different? Because they're not the same team.
I think because they have a good I forgot what it's called.
When they have a good defense?
Yeah, they have a good defense and offense.
And they do play good. They play pretty good defense. Now I have seen them play. I mean, no matter if LeBron is there or not there, they're gonna play good defense.
That is true.
They play excellent defense. They hedge perfectly. They do everything perfect. It seems like some days. I'll be like,
but that's your pick, and we're gonna hold you to it because if they win, we're gonna put you back on here. Yeah. Now if they lose, you still may be put back on here.
You putting receipts on the kid trap, man?
I got your back, shorty. I got your back, my man.
I got receipts on my kids. What you think?
Oh man.
Let's flip it over to the East Side. I call the East Side the Brooklyn Thanksgiving Tournament.
The Brooklyn Invitational.
The Brooklyn Invitational, because I think it's very simple, fellas. I mean, we can talk about it, get into it. G2, I'm going to bring you back in. If they're healthy, ain't nobody beating Brooklyn. Like, 3 of the best 10 players in the league are on that team. If they're healthy, nobody has enough bullets to beat Brooklyn. Am I making this too simple?
You're not making it too simple, but I think though. So for the Eastern Conference Finals, I have the Knicks versus the Nets.
Oh, the Knicks. Yo, sign me up.
I got the Knicks too, but I don't got the Nets. I like the Knicks too.
And the reason I have the Knicks getting there is because the Knicks are the Knicks are playing like a death by 1,000 cuts right now, and all they do is just this slit, and by the time you're looking up, you bleeding all over the place. Like, okay, what just happened to me, right? And this team. So the Knicks versus the Nets, I won a Subway Series. We've never had one in NBA like this, so that's why I want that. But this also reminds me of 2011 Heat versus the Bulls. Like it has that feel to it for some, and maybe because of this nostalgia of Tibbs and Rose when he was at his pinnacle and that team that they had, and then you had. Miami with their big three. But I think it's going to be the Knicks and the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I have the Nets winning. I have them winning because that play. What was that yesterday? The play that they had when Blake Griffin to
Blake to Kyrie to old boy off the
I was like, I don't, man. Every team that saw that yesterday. That's when that was like, okay, they here.
That was the N1 mixtape tour.
We have James Harden wasn't even involved in the play.
And that's the crazy part though. Like he was nowhere to be found, and this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Mike James, adds a dynamic to that team that is extremely interesting to me because he kind of has like that. We talking about storylines. He kind of has like that. Even though Mario Chalmers was on that team, they also had Norris Cole.
Right.
And I remember what Norris Cole was doing on that team.
Yep.
And what he added to that team.
Yeah.
Mike James could do the exact same thing. Probably at a higher clip because of how he plays. So I have, like I said, the Knicks, Nets, Eastern Conference, Nets win. I have the Nets winning the whole thing. Like I mean, I had them already, but then when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, y'all get him that trophy because you, as you said in the Western Conference, they ain't got enough bullets. I don't think nobody in the NBA has enough bullets for that.
Right. Now we don't do fake debates and fake arguments on the show. But these two gentlemen are about to do a mini step in the ring. And that's J Ham and Coach B. And the reason it's J Ham and Coach B is because Coach B is really on the Giannis and the Bucks movement. Okay. Ham, to quote the famous lyric, "We don't believe you. You need more people." So Ham, I'm gonna start with you. What is it that you need to see? We're not gonna do the negative. What do you just need to see from Milwaukee that would make you believe a little, have more belief?
Oh, that's real simple. Get out of the Eastern Conference.
It is.
I mean, this is what, year 3 of them being in the spot of contender, whether it's the top contender or one that's considered a contender to get there under whatever circumstance. You got one of the top 5 players in the world. You've upgraded for another player to add to that mix. Just really much left to do. Just get out of the East. I mean, there's no other steps for them, from at least to satisfy a requirement for me. No other steps for them to take.
Is it like the Clippers for you? Are they the Clippers of the East for you?
In terms, I guess within that window of how they've been constructed over the last couple of years, you better Milwaukee, but no, it ain't as bad for Milwaukee on the you better side because they got to deal with Brooklyn, they got to deal with Philadelphia, they got to deal with the Knicks, B. You know what I'm saying? Just in case. So not as bad as it is for the Clippers because the Clippers they took their chips, they pushed them straight to the middle of the table, and they did this the summer of 2019. And even if we felt like they wasn't gonna win it last year, it was like, yo, your window of doing this is not long. And really, when I think about that and I look at Milwaukee, where that window was here, it's starting to shrink up a bit, and then it's shrinking up a little bit on not being as wide and not being as long. So time, I guess, like John Cena's theme music, the time is now, Milwaukee. What you got?
Coach B, you have been an advocate for Giannis and the Bucks. What do you now tell me on your side? What is it about the Bucks that you feel? Because if I'm not mistaken, you ready to pick them to win these, correct?
I got Milwaukee coming out.
Okay, so let's go right there. Why?
Ah, man. Giannis got more help. Like, just plain and simple. He has more help. And I believe that we're, like, really stepping over the pickup of Drew Holiday. Like, I really believe, I mean, he can really play. I mean, he's not going to get you 30, 40 a night like a Harden or a Kyrie, but he plays both sides of the ball. Giannis, not only is a defending MVP, but he's a defensive player of the year. Arguably could be, voted this year, but he probably won't. But they play both sides of the ball and at a high level. Chris Middleton, that big three. I mean, that big three isn't as sexy as Durant, Irving, and Harden, but it's a formidable big three. They play both sides of the ball at a high level, 1-on-1. They can guard Germsword. They can guard. And then when we talk about the help, Bobby Portis, dog, PJ Tucker. He on the defensive end. He hold up. PJ Tucker. Now, first of all, he pump faked us in Houston. He was not that good to begin with offensively. Now, defensively, now we can get the real PJ Tucker. You know what I mean? Get some stops. Be like Bruce Bowen, set up in the corner and knock down the three when your number's called. Right? I like Brian Forbes. Brian Forbes is balling. He had a month in April, 11 and a half a game. I seen it, 40 from three, 40, almost 50% from the field. He just got more help. And Ham said it earlier. When it's your time, it's your time. And they other than the Sixers, I think they're the most solid team from a chemistry standpoint. They have an identity. Brooklyn's still kind of working that out a little bit. I like the Bucks. I like the Bucks. I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. With the Knicks is giving me Tom Izzo and Michigan State vibes with Tibbs and them boys over there and what they doing. They just I like what the Knicks is doing. Knicks and Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's my pick.
I do not believe in Milwaukee like that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't even think it's the players that's going to be the situation. It's going to be the coaching. Coach Budenhauser, his first disciple. I know how he coaches. He coaches by analytics. He don't coaches by players and matchups. He coaches by analytics. This is what hurt him in the bubble. Instead of him putting your number one defensive player on their number one offensive player, they played a 2-3 zone to where Giannis is most effective playing defense away from the ball. It don't work when you get splashed by them American snipers. that Miami got. And they're coming back this year. And they're playing the first round.
First round.
You got to see that again?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they may beat them this time. But again, this game is going to be about coaching. Spoelstra got the experience. Budenhauser has the experience also. But is Budenhauser going to get out of character and finally just man up and be like your best against my best? Or he's going to still play analytically? If he goes analytically, he's not going nowhere. That's just the bottom line.
I gotta see. We got Shorty on the show, so I was gonna take a sip of the gin rummy and do my player fly and my player fly for this one. But I just want y'all to understand one thing about this Brooklyn situation. Drew probably won't guard Kyrie because they're gonna want Drew on ball against James. That in itself takes away the whole dynamic of the entire thing because he can't body up James Harden coming up the court. James gonna do what they do at old school back in the day. He gonna put him on that ass and he just gonna do that like this. Okay, move. All right, you get over there. You get over there. That stops and negates the whole thing for Drew right there. I love Drew Holiday. Love what he brings to the game. But then you got KD and Kyrie off pin down screens in the same mid-range area that Budenhauser likes to avoid playing defense in. So you're going to give Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, two of the 5 best mid-range players in basketball, 5 to 6 a game, uncontested mid-range jumpers. That's a recipe for 10 points apiece just right there. That ain't including free throw line and anything else. Next, I hate to be the person to say this, but if they play man, it takes away from what they really want to do. And that is get you in the paint where they use Big Brook Lopez as a extra shot blocker or a guy to stop the ball so Giannis can come over from playing safety and get the chase down blocks and the blocks from the weak side. No more weak side block Giannis because he got to guard 7, a.k.a. Mr. Trey 5, the Slim Reaper. The one that has split hack in everybody's face. You have just taken away everything that they do well, and Chris Middleton can't dance with Kyrie. He will be in foul trouble by the 4-minute mark in the first quarter. It will get ugly. He will be dancing on that man. It will up. You know that move up. Middleton gonna have a number 2 on himself out there. Barry, don't you set him up like that.
But hold up, I know this is the NBA and guarding and defense is at a premium. It's not the most talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about who Brooklyn is going to guard.
Guess what?
And how they're going to guard.
Put Forbes on that floor and Kyrie going to stand there and just watch
Steve
him.
Nash, last time I checked, Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni did not go to school for defense.
Nope. Hey, but Kevin Durant and AD are 2 of the best defenders in the NBA at helping their teammates and guarding their positions and every position on the floor. They got 7. So as long as they got 7, you go ahead and you put Brook down there and KD going to have him 4 blocks a game. KD do everything on the court. KD the coldest man in the Eastern Conference, the coldest man in the league, period. The only man in the world who can do what KD do is that dude in LA named Anthony Davis from Chicago. That's the only other one. Them 2 dudes is the key to the NBA right now, today. Them 2 dudes guard everybody. Everybody. It's ugly. Y'all bet I hope that AD gets to the finals. That's y'all best bet. KD going for 2 straight. And if Kyrie stay, it might be 4. Y'all better watch it. It's about to get emotional, NBA. I'm calling them now. Call me the weatherman.
Well, what I'm hearing is availability. I'm hearing availability. A lot of people need to be available, healthy, and we were talking analytics and things of that nature. Milwaukee beat them 2 out of 3 this year. So we're gonna see.
James Harden didn't play in the last 2 games.
Availability.
Not a team that I think if there is anybody who has a chance with Brooklyn, it's Philadelphia. Philadelphia they have a couple of things that number one, they have process. Brooklyn, for all the things that Brooklyn has, they got a bunch of things. That's the one spot they don't have an answer.
Yep. Nothing for me here.
And they have Ben Simmons now. Ben is a great defender. He can't defend everybody. But they have somebody who at least can give somebody on the perimeter something to think about. I think Philly is I am not saying Philly is going to beat Brooklyn. I want everybody to be clear. Because I still think Brooklyn is going to get through this. But I think actually, as I think about it, I think Philadelphia, if Brooklyn gets to Philadelphia, if they in the match in East Finals, I think that's the toughest match they're going to have in the entire playoffs. Would be Philadelphia. I don't think anybody else has the athleticism or the size to make it difficult for Brooklyn. Anybody want to jump in? I'm not saying they're going to win. But I think Philadelphia is the only team that can make it interesting.
I think Philadelphia, and I'm just going to say this real quick. I think Philadelphia is the only team in the NBA that people have to respect because of the Joel Embiid effect and then Ben Simmons on the perimeter. So I think let's just say that the Lakers came out of the West, I think Philly could beat the Lakers too. So I think Philly is one of those 2 teams that they're just extremely good basketball team. And they got Doc Rivers. That's all I got. Trav, pass it to you, bro.
Philly can make it interesting, but if they run up against Brooklyn and they healthy, Embiid is the only problem. He is the only problem. And again, the game of basketball is who can run their stuff and can score on a consistent basis. If Embiid can establish himself on a consistent basis all game, every game, it can be a problem. But it's just hard. You got James Harden, James, Kyrie, KD.
Now,
it's tough.
I'm going to go to ham on this one. Because and the team that we talked about, the Knicks. And the Knicks, I think the Knicks get past Atlanta in round 1. I think they get it. A Knicks-Philadelphia series could be a lot of fun because the Knicks are going to fight you.
They will. And they're going to drag enough out of you through those 6 or 7 games that when you go to that next one, you're going to feel the effects.
Ink in your arm.
The carryover for them, in that regard. And regardless of who's to win that series, either one I think can make it interesting, I guess would be the proper term. I guess we'll say entertaining would be the more appropriate term. We're dealing with Brooklyn, but after that, man, it's pretty much like Big at the 95 Source Awards. Brooklyn, we did it. I got the meme too. I got the meme already on deck for it. So, but it's too much. When you got too much fire, we had so much firepower.
Yeah.
On one side, it's like we can look at the possible hypotheticals. We can gas up and draw up a whole bunch of BS scenarios. They're only BS mainly because once the game started, the ball is tipped. It's like, yo, this shit was 4-1. You know what I'm saying? It's like better team end up winning anyway. But We did that a lot last year. You know, looking at that Lakers squad, we were looking at reasonable ways that Portland could try to do it, reasonable ways that this other squad. Who do they face in the second round?
Houston.
Houston, right? Then possible
Yeah.
ways for them to do it. It was just like, yo, all of that is just ain't nobody got enough bullets. Not for that. They need a whole lot to go wrong. And I look at the same way, regardless if it's Philadelphia, regardless if it's the Knicks, the Bucks, whoever the case may be, when they come across to the dudes that play in the Barclays Center, it's got too much firepower, especially if it's all available.
So wrap it up. We're gonna get everybody's final prediction and pick your champion.
I did Brooklyn Clippers. That's it.
Brooklyn. So Brooklyn. I have Brooklyn, Utah. Brooklyn wins. Nick,
Brooklyn
who you
Clippers.
got?
I got Philly and Lakers. And I got Philly win it all.
Okay.
I got Warriors and Lakers.
I got you. Hey, now you got the Lakers. You got the Lakers going. Now on the East, you got the Nets, you got Philly, the 76ers, you got the Knicks, you got the Hawks. Who do you think gonna win that whole thing over there on that side?
100% Nets.
You got the Nets. So you
Cause
got
they got Kyrie, James, and Kevin.
Now you're talking. Now, so you got the Lakers and the Knicks. And who you think gonna win the championship?
Lakers.
All right.
Aiden right.
Because that's my team.
I respect it.
That's my team.
All right.
Coach B.
We're going to see history. The Los Angeles Lakers will be the lowest seeded team ever at the number 7 seed to win an NBA championship, and they will beat the Milwaukee Bucks. A 7th seed. Previously, it was the Houston Rockets in '95 at a 6th seed that won the championship. We've seen how the dream went crazy. We will see the same. Great competitors are at their best when their best is required, and we got some competitors over there in Tinseltown, over there in LA, and they're coming to repeat. LA, Bucks, LA in 6.
Ham to close us out.
Coach Bear gonna take us through the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Invitational with his pick. It's all right though. It's all good. I'm gonna go with the Jackie Robinson Invitational.
Uh-oh.
East to West, Brooklyn, LA.
Which LA?
I was about to say I didn't specify which LA.
Oh.
But as I said about 15 minutes ago, though, yo, until you do it, until you dethrone that dude, until you become the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6 and you knock off Hulk Hogan, I gotta go with Hulk Hogan.
This man here is the most walkingest Jinx person. That's why I had to take off my headset and just walk away not too long ago. Because I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I know what's going
on. And I'm a backtrack it one time too. You know what else, Trav? You know what else I got? Wednesday night, I got the Spurs shooting 6-8%. Y'all gonna win by like 14.
Hey,
man,
the reverse psychology. The
oh my God!
And there y'all have it. 94 Feet of Life. Sain family. 94 Feet of Life is a Facebook group. Run this back. When a link comes out, run it back. Tag a friend. Tell a friend. Shout out to G2, Coach Les, Barry, Nick, young Aiden in the building.
Shout out to Aiden.
Shout out to Aiden. Germ behind the scenes, controlling things, Trav, Ham. Shout out to our partner MJ out there on the grind.
And Mr. Sain himself.
And Mr. Sain himself. Can't forget our man Anthony Sain. Thanks for checking in, man. We made it, y'all. The playoffs are finally here. We will be back. Now, I'm not sure when the next show is going to be because now that we got playoff basketball, depending on how the schedule fall and things, so we may not have the regular Friday show. We'll have a meeting about that and see how we're going to handle that. But enjoy the play-in, enjoy the playoffs, basketball, for the people, by the people. We out.
Just remember, Lakers gonna